There comes a moment in every life when we find ourselves at the edge of a question so vast, so deep, that it echoes in the quietest corners of our soul. It is a question that arises not from the intellect, but from the heart. And it may come in the stillness of a quiet evening or in the midst of chaos. What am I truly seeking, you may ask? And when the noise of the world fades, there is an answer, gentle and certain, that rises from within. You are seeking yourself. This is the greatest paradox of our human experience. What we search for, what we long for, what we strive to attain is already within us. We have been taught to seek outward, to reach beyond ourselves, to chase dreams that seem so far away. But what if I told you that the very treasure you are looking for has always been within your grasp? That the peace you seek, the love you yearn for, the fulfillment you chase it, is not something to be found in the distant horizon of tomorrow. No, it is something to be awakened within you, something that already exists in the very fabric of your being. You are born whole, not after achieving something, not when you prove your worth, not when the world acknowledges you. No, from the first breath you took, you were complete. Your soul was already perfect, you were already enough. And yet, somewhere along the way, you forgot this truth. You began to identify with roles and labels, your name, your job, your body, your successes, your failures. You became convinced that you were separate from the whole, disconnected from the divine, in need of something outside of you to complete you. But I tell you now, beloved soul, the journey of your life is not one of becoming something more. It is the journey of remembering what you already are. You are not a seeker, you are a rememberer. You are not broken, you are whole, waiting to rediscover the infinite well of love, peace, and truth that resides within you. The world tells you that you must strive to prove yourself, that you must chase success and accumulate wealth, that you must climb higher and higher in an endless quest for approval, validation, and recognition. But I ask you, who are you when you strip away all of these external markers? Who are you when you are not defined by what you do, by what you own, by what you have accomplished? You are not your titles, your accolades, your failures, or your fears. You are not the story that you have been told to believe about yourself. You are the formless, the eternal, the infinite. You are the stillness behind the storm. You are the sky that holds the clouds but is not affected by them. You are the light that shines through the darkness, unaffected by the shadows it casts. You are the awareness that witnesses all but remains untouched by it. When you begin to realize this truth, you will walk through this life with a lightness of being, because you will no longer feel the weight of needing to become something you are not. The ego will try to tell you otherwise. The ego will tell you that you need more success, more possessions, more recognition. It will whisper that you are not enough, that you are not worthy unless you accomplish more, become more, achieve more. But the truth, beloved soul, is that you are already enough. You were never incomplete. You do not need to chase after anything to become worthy. You are worthy because you are a divine expression of the source itself. This is the profound invitation that life offers you, not to become more, but to return to yourself. To return to the sacred space within you that has always been connected to the divine. You do not need to look outside for validation or fulfillment, because the wellspring of all that you seek resides within you. The more you seek outside yourself, the further you move away from your own essence. But when you turn inward, when you rest in the stillness within, you will find that everything you have ever longed for is already here. This journey inward is not a journey of isolation. It is not a retreat from the world. It is a journey of returning to the truth of who you are, so that you may live more fully in the world. When you remember your divinity, when you reconnect with the source of all love and peace within you, you no longer need to chase the world for happiness. Happiness becomes your natural state. It is not something to be earned or attained, but something to be remembered. And so, the more you remember, the less you need. You stop chasing, you stop striving, you stop pushing. You begin to live in the flow of life, allowing things to unfold as they are meant to, rather than trying to control or manipulate them. You become a vessel of grace, a beacon of love, a reflection of the divine. You begin to trust that all is well, because you know deep within that you are part of something much greater than yourself. You are part of the unfolding of the universe itself. And as you remember your place within it, your life becomes a beautiful expression of divine will. The more you live from this space of inner truth, the more you realize that life is not something to be controlled or mastered. Life is something to be surrendered to, something to be lived with an open heart and an open mind. You no longer need to fight against the current, you become the current. You move with life, not against it, trusting that everything you need will come to you in its own time, and that everything you encounter is an opportunity for growth, for awakening, for a deeper connection with your own soul. In this space of surrender, the ego begins to dissolve. The need to control, the need to impress, the need to prove, all of these fall away like leaves in the autumn wind. And what remains is your true essence, pure, whole, and free. You no longer need to be someone you are not. You no longer need to chase after an image of yourself that the world has created. You simply need to be who you are in all your divine simplicity. When you awaken to this truth, everything changes. Your relationships change. Your work changes. Your sense of purpose deepens. You no longer need to seek approval from others because you have already given yourself permission to be. You no longer need to chase after fleeting moments of happiness because you realize that true joy comes from within. You no longer need to fear the future or regret the past because you understand that the present moment is all there is. And in this present moment, you are whole, you are loved, and you are free. This is the most important journey you will ever take, the journey within. It is the journey of returning to your true self, of remembering who you are, and of living from that place of deep inner knowing. It is not a journey of striving or becoming. It is a journey of being. It is the journey of shedding all that is not you, all the masks you have worn, all the stories you have told yourself, so that you can finally rest in the truth of your being. The ego will resist this. It will try to tell you that you are not enough, that you are not worthy, that you must do more to be loved. But the soul knows the truth. The soul knows that you are already enough. You are already whole. You are already loved. So, I invite you now to let go of the need to search. Let go of the need to become. You are already everything you seek. The love, the peace, the joy, the freedom, it is all within you. All you need to do is stop searching and start remembering. The truth is not something to be found. It is something to be recognized. It is something to be awakened within you. And when you awaken to this truth, your life will no longer be a struggle. It will be a dance of surrender, of trust, of love. You will no longer feel the need to fight against life because you will know deep within that life is not happening to you, it is happening for you. Every experience, every encounter, every moment is an invitation to awaken further, to remember more fully, to live more deeply. This is the most important journey you will ever take. It is the journey inward. It is the journey of returning to yourself. And as you make this journey, you will find that everything you seek has always been within you. You are whole. You are enough. You are loved. And you are free. And so, as you sit in the stillness of this moment, let yourself breathe deeply, for every breath is a whisper from the divine, inviting you to remember. The breath that rises and falls in your chest is the rhythm of the universe itself, life moving through you. You do not need to force this rhythm. You need only to surrender to it. It will carry you effortlessly to places you have never imagined, and it will carry you home back to the center of your own being. This is the sacred dance of life. When you stop trying to control it, when you stop trying to master it, you are finally free to live in harmony with it. The world will continue to beckon you outward. It will continue to present distractions, opportunities, and demands. It will continue to tell you who you should be and what you should do. But, beloved soul, there is a greater voice within you, a still, quiet voice that knows the truth. It speaks not through force, but through gentle guidance. It whispers not in the chaos, but in the quiet moments when you listen. It is the voice of your true self, the voice of the eternal essence that lies beneath all the layers of conditioning and fear. And this voice, though soft, is the loudest and most powerful voice you will ever hear, because it speaks the language of the soul. This is the voice that tells you, you are enough, you are whole, you are love. There's nothing you need to prove, nothing you need to attain, nothing you need to become. In the eyes of your soul, you are already perfect. You are not a collection of experiences. You are the one who witnesses them. You are not the body you inhabit. You are the consciousness that animates it. You are not the story you tell yourself. You are the space in which that story unfolds. And when you know this truth deeply, you can no longer be shaken by the temporary storms of life. You begin to see them for what they are, passing clouds, momentary fluctuations in the vast sky of your being. You see, the world tells you that you are limited. It tells you that you are bound by time, by circumstances, by your past, by your fears. But the soul knows that there is no limit to who you are. You are infinite. You are the very breath of the divine, the spark of creation itself. There is no beginning and no end to you. You are not confined by the narrow definitions of the world. You are expansive, boundless, eternal. When you remember this truth, you begin to see that your life is not a series of isolated events. It is a sacred journey, unfolding exactly as it should, in perfect divine order. You do not need to force anything to happen. All you need to do is align with the truth that is already within you and trust that life will carry you where you need to go. The world may tell you that peace is something you must earn, that love is something you must seek, that happiness is something you must strive for. But this is the illusion. Peace, love, and happiness are not destinations to be reached. They are the essence of who you are, waiting to be remembered. You were born into this world not to find yourself, but to remember who you already are. You are not here to search for validation. You are here to express your truth. You are not here to chase after love. You are here to be love, to embody it, to radiate it into the world around you. And in doing so, you will find that love, peace, and happiness come to you not because you pursued them, but because they are the natural state of your being. When you allow yourself to rest in the stillness of your soul, you begin to realize that the pursuit of external goals is not what brings true fulfillment. The real joy comes from within, from the quiet knowing that you are already whole, already perfect, already aligned with the divine. This is the place from which true creativity flows, from which true abundance arises, from which true peace emanates. When you stop looking outside of yourself for validation, you become a magnet for everything you've been searching for. You attract not because you seek, but because you are aligned with the truth of your own being. You attract not from a place of lack, but from a place of abundance. You are no longer chasing the world, you are simply allowing the world to meet you where you are. This is the power of presence. This is the power of being, not doing. When you are fully present in the moment, when you allow yourself to simply be, you step into the flow of life. You are no longer pushing against the current. You are no longer striving to control the outcome. Instead, you trust the process. You trust that everything is unfolding as it should, and you know that you are exactly where you need to be. In this place of deep trust, miracles begin to happen. Things fall into place without effort. The universe begins to conspire in your favor, and you begin to realize that the more you surrender, the more you receive. You do not need to work harder. You need to work smarter by aligning with the truth of your being, by living from the deepest part of your soul. And in this deep surrender, you are liberated. You are liberated from the need to impress, to achieve, to become something you are not. You are liberated from the false belief that you must chase after love, success, or validation. You are liberated from the grip of fear and doubt that once held you back. And in this liberation, you find freedom, not the freedom that comes from external circumstances, but the freedom that comes from within, the freedom to be yourself, the freedom to live in alignment with your soul, the freedom to express your truth without fear of judgment, because you no longer seek the approval of others. You know deep within that you are already whole, already loved, already free. So in this moment, I invite you to release the struggle. Let go of the need to search, to strive, to prove. Instead, embrace the truth that is already within you. You are not a separate being, disconnected from the source of all life. You are the source itself, flowing through this world in a unique and beautiful expression. You are not lost. You are exactly where you need to be. You are not broken. You are already whole. You are not searching for love because you are love. You are not searching for peace because you are peace. You are not searching for happiness because you are happiness. And as you begin to fully embrace this truth, your life will transform. The world around you will begin to shift. The relationships that once felt strained will soften. The fears that once held you captive will dissolve. The obstacles that once seemed insurmountable will no longer seem so, because you will no longer be fighting against them. Instead, you will be flowing with them, knowing that they too are part of the divine design, part of the journey that is leading you back to yourself. This is the beauty of the path you are on. It is not a path of becoming. It is a path of remembering. It is not a path of seeking. It is a path of surrender. And when you surrender to the truth of who you are, you will find that the world opens up to you in ways you never imagined. You will begin to live not from a place of lack, but from a place of abundance. You will begin to speak not from a place of fear, but from a place of love. You will begin to act not from a place of duty, but from a place of inspiration. And in this space of true alignment, your life will become a reflection of the divine. Every moment will be sacred. Every encounter will be a blessing. Every challenge will be an opportunity for growth. And you will walk through this world not as a seeker, but as a soul who has remembered the truth. You are already whole. You are already enough. You are already free. And so as you move through this day, through this life, remember, the most important journey is not the one that takes you outward into the world. It is the journey that takes you inward, to the depths of your own being. It is the journey of returning to the truth of who you are. And when you walk this path, you will find that everything you have ever sought has always been right here within you. You are already enough. You always have been. And now, you are free. And so, as you sit with this truth, this quiet, gentle knowing, allow it to seep into the deepest parts of your being. You are not a fleeting moment in time. You are not a single breath among countless others. You are the eternal breath itself. You are the pulse of creation flowing in and out endlessly, without effort, without struggle. You are not bound by the hands of time. For time itself is an illusion, a construct created by the mind. In reality, there is only the present moment, this one moment, where everything begins and ends, where the universe unfolds, where all things converge in perfect harmony. When you let go of the need to grasp at the past or chase the future, you will discover that the only true moment is this one right here, right now. The moment where you are not defined by who you were, nor who you think you need to be, but simply by the fact that you are. You exist. And in this existence, in this moment, there is nothing to prove, nothing to gain, nothing to lose. There is only this perfect expression of life that is unfolding through you. What would it feel like to rest completely in the now? To release all the stories you've carried with you, all the roles you've been told to play, and simply to be? What if you could experience life as it is, in all its beauty, without the filter of judgment or expectation? What if you could stop chasing and simply receive? The truth is, the more you chase, the further you move from the present moment. The more you strive for something outside yourself, the more you disconnect from the divine current that is always flowing within you. And so the invitation is simple. Stop chasing, stop seeking, stop striving, allow yourself to be right now exactly as you are. In this space of simply being, you begin to experience the world not as a series of obstacles to overcome, but as a reflection of your own inner state. When you are at peace within, the world around you becomes a mirror of that peace. When you are filled with love, the people you encounter reflect that love. When you are rooted in stillness, you become the eye of the storm, the center of calm in the midst of chaos. You see, everything is energy. Your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, all of them emit a frequency, a vibration. And when you are aligned with the truth of who you are, when you are living from a place of inner knowing, that energy radiates outward, touching everything in its path. This is the power of alignment. This is the magic of presence. You no longer need to force outcomes or manipulate situations. You simply allow your energy to be a living expression of your inner truth and watch as the world mirrors that truth back to you. And as you begin to live from this place, you will see that the external world begins to shift. The challenges that once seemed insurmountable will appear less daunting. The people who once triggered you will no longer have the power to disturb your peace. You will find yourself moving through life with grace, with ease, with a quiet knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. There will be no more need to chase after success, after recognition, after approval. The pursuit of these things will fall away because you will realize that you are already whole, already complete, already worthy. And in this realization, You will experience the beauty of living in harmony with the flow of life. You will no longer resist the natural rhythms of the universe. You will no longer fight against the current, for you will know that the current is taking you exactly where you need to go. Life will no longer be a battle to be won, but a dance to be experienced. And as you surrender to the dance, you will find yourself moving in perfect harmony with the universe. Each step, each breath, an expression of the divine. In the stillness, in the surrender, in the letting go of control, you will discover that the world around you is a reflection of your inner state. The more you align with your soul, the more the world will align with you. You no longer need to manipulate or force outcomes. You no longer need to control the flow of life. When you are in alignment with your true self, life flows effortlessly, like a river that is no longer dammed, but allowed to follow its natural course. And in this flow, you will discover that everything you need is already here. You are not searching for something you do not already have. You are not looking for happiness, because happiness is your natural state. You are not looking for peace, because peace is who you are. You are not looking for love, because love is the essence of your being. All that you seek is already within you, waiting to be remembered. And as you remember, you will find that you are no longer bound by the limitations of the past or the expectations of the future. You are no longer a prisoner of your own mind, trapped in cycles of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. You are free. Free to live as the divine expression of life that you are, free to create, to love, to serve, to be. This is the freedom that comes from awakening to the truth of who you are. It is not the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want. It is the freedom to be who you are, without apology, without fear, without the need to prove anything to anyone. It is the freedom to live from the deepest part of your soul, to express your truth without fear of judgment or rejection. It is the freedom to love without conditions, to give without expectation, to serve without attachment. And in this freedom, you will find that life becomes a sacred expression of the divine. Every action, every word, every thought becomes an offering, a prayer, a blessing. You will begin to see that the small things are the big things, the way the sunlight dances on the leaves, the sound of birds singing in the morning, the feeling of the earth beneath your feet. All of these things are sacred. All of these things are an expression of the divine. And as you awaken to this truth, you will see that nothing in your life is random. Every person you meet, every experience you have, every challenge you face is a part of the divine plan. There is no such thing as coincidence. Everything is happening for your awakening, for your growth, for your evolution. And when you understand this, you no longer need to fear the challenges that come your way. You no longer need to resist them. You can embrace them knowing that they are a part of the journey, a part of the path that is leading you back to yourself. In this space of deep surrender and trust, you will find that everything you need will be provided. You will never go without, because you are connected to the infinite source of all abundance. You are not separate from the divine supply. You are a part of it. And when you align with your true self, when you live in harmony with the flow of life, all that you need will come to you effortlessly. It may not always come in the form you expect, but it will come in the form that is most aligned with your highest good. And so, beloved soul, as you continue on this journey, remember this. You are not here to chase after anything. You are here to remember who you already are. You are here to awaken to the truth of your own divine nature. You are here to live from a place of love, of peace, of joy. You are here to express the truth that is already within you. And when you do this, the world will reflect that truth back to you in ways you cannot yet imagine. So let go of the need to search, let go of the need to chase, let go of the need to become. You already are everything you seek. You are already whole, already enough, already loved. And when you remember this, everything in your life will shift. You will begin to live with a sense of peace, of trust, of surrender, knowing that all is well. And in this peace, in this knowing, you will find the freedom you have been seeking, not in the world outside, but in the depth of your own being. And when you live from this space, you become a living testament to the truth that what you seek is already within you. It always has been, and now, as you stand at the threshold of this sacred understanding, know this: you are not stepping into something new. You are returning to something ancient, something timeless, something eternal. What you have been seeking, what you have been searching for, has always been within you. It was never lost. It was only momentarily forgotten, buried beneath layers of conditioning, of fears, of illusions, and now the veil is lifting, the fog is dissipating. You are remembering. There's a quiet beauty in this remembrance. It is not loud, not brash, not dramatic. It is a soft, steady awakening, like the first light of dawn breaking through the stillness of night. It is the moment when you realize that the journey was never about finding something outside of yourself, but about rediscovering what was always there. The peace, the love, the joy, they were never hidden from you. They were simply waiting for you to stop searching for them elsewhere, waiting for you to turn inward and recognize that they were a part of you, as much a part of your soul as your breath, your heartbeat, your being. And in this moment of recognition, everything changes. The world shifts. It becomes more vibrant, more meaningful, more alive. Not because the world itself has changed, but because your perception has. You begin to see the beauty in the simplest of things, the way the light plays on the leaves of a tree, the sound of a bird singing its morning song, the feeling of the earth beneath your feet. These are not small, insignificant moments. They are sacred. They are divine. They are the very fabric of existence, woven together in the most exquisite tapestry of life. You realize now that everything in your life, every encounter, every challenge, every joy, every sorrow, is a reflection of the truth within you. The people you meet, the experiences you have, they are all part of the grand design, part of the divine plan unfolding perfectly in its own time. You no longer need to fight against life. You no longer need to control or manipulate your circumstances. You no longer need to push or strive. You only need to trust. Trust that life, in all its wisdom, is guiding you to exactly where you need to be. This is the freedom that comes with living in alignment with your true self. It is the freedom from the need to prove, to perform, to become. It is the freedom to simply be, to live from a place of peace, of love, of deep knowing. And in this freedom, you discover a new kind of power, not the power to control, not the power to dominate, but the power to surrender, the power to trust, the power to flow with life, knowing that everything you need will come to you in its own time, in its own way. And as you embrace this freedom, you will begin to notice that life becomes lighter. You no longer carry the weight of fear, of worry, of doubt. You no longer feel the need to defend yourself or to protect yourself from the world. You walk through life with grace, with ease, with a quiet confidence that comes not from your achievements, but from your being, deep within, that you are enough just as you are, that you do not need to change, to strive, to become something more. You are already whole. You are already complete. This is the truth that has been with you all along. You are not broken. You are not incomplete. You are not a collection of your past experiences, your failures, your fears. You are the infinite, the eternal, the divine. You are the stillness behind the storm, the light behind the clouds, the awareness that sees all things without being touched by them. And when you live from this place of truth, you realize that you are not separate from the world. You are the world. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean contained in a single drop. And when you embrace this truth, when you truly live from it, you begin to see that there is nothing to fear. The ego may continue to rise up, whispering its lies of inadequacy, of not being enough, of needing more. But you, dear soul, now know better. You know that these are just shadows, fleeting illusions that can no longer hold power over you. You are no longer the mask you wear. You are the light behind the mask. You are not the roles you play. You are the formless, the eternal, the boundless. And so, in this knowing, you begin to walk through life with a quiet grace. You no longer need to chase or strive. You no longer need to compete or compare. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone, because you have already proven to yourself that you are enough. You are worthy, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. You are worthy simply because you exist. And in this knowing, in this deep, unshakable truth, you find peace. Peace that does not come from the absence of challenges, but from the presence of truth. Peace that does not come from the world aligning with your desires, but from aligning your desires with the truth of who you are. Peace that does not come from external circumstances, but from the stillness within. And in this peace, you are free. You are free to be yourself, free to express your truth, free to love without conditions, to give without expectation, to serve without attachment. You are free to live from the depth of your soul, to walk the path that is uniquely yours, without fear of judgment, without the need for approval. You are free to create, to build, to serve, to share your gifts with the world. And in doing so, you will find that the world reflects back to you all, that you have given peace, love, joy, abundance. But the most beautiful thing of all is this: you will no longer seek these things outside yourself. You will no longer search for validation or fulfillment. You will no longer chase after love or success or happiness, because you will know that these things are not found in the world. They are found within. And when you live from this truth, you become a beacon of light, a living testament to the power of love, of peace, of truth. You will radiate these qualities into the world, and the world will respond in kind. This is the magic of remembrance. This is the power of returning to yourself. It is not the power to control, to conquer, or to dominate. It is the power to surrender, to trust, to allow. It is the power to live from the depth of your soul, knowing that all is well, that all is unfolding as it should. And as you live from this space, as you walk this path of remembrance, you will find that everything you have been seeking will come to you not because you chased it, but because you became it. You will find that love, peace, joy, and abundance are not things to be attained. They are states of being, expressions of your true nature. And when you align with your true self, when you remember who you are, all of these things will flow into your life effortlessly because they are already within you. And so, beloved soul, as you continue this journey, remember, you are already enough. You are already whole. You are already love. The most important journey is not the one that takes you out into the world. It is the journey that takes you within to the truth of who you are. And when you remember that truth, everything changes. You are free. You are whole. You are love. And in that freedom, you will find that life in all its beauty is a reflection of the divine. It is not something to be controlled or mastered. It is something to be lived, to be embraced, to be experienced in all its fullness. And as you embrace it, as you live it from a place of truth, you will find that the world becomes a mirror of the love, the peace, and the joy that resides within you. Because, dear soul, you are the divine. You are the light. You are the love. And now you remember. And in this remembrance, you are free. You are already enough. You always have been. And now, there comes a moment, often in the quiet aftermath of longing, when life leans in and whispers not to your ears, but to the center of your being, it is time. Not time to achieve or to strive or to prove anything to the world, but time to awaken. Time to lift the veil you've worn for far too long and see not with your eyes, but with your soul, that what you've been chasing has never been somewhere out there. It has always lived in the silent sanctuary of your own heart. We live in a world enamored by sound, by noise, by the endless clamoring of minds caught in the performance of becoming. But the truth, the unshakable, eternal truth, is never shouted. It is whispered in stillness. And these words that now meet your awareness, they are not meant to be admired, quoted, or analyzed. They are meant to be lived. Let them become your breath. Let them dissolve your armor. Let them carry you back to the place you have never truly left, the sacred now. For you are not your schedule, you are not your obligations, you are not your accomplishments, nor your fears. You are not the mask you wear to be loved. You are not the silence you swallowed to be safe. You are not the story others wrote for you when you were too young to hold a pen. You are the soul behind it all. You are the witness to the dance. You are the vast eternal sky, and every role you play is but a passing cloud. The ego wants you to listen to these words, nod, feel inspired for a while, and then return to your familiar suffering. Because ego cannot survive your awakening. But the soul doesn't want you to just hear. The soul wants you to live. It wants you to embody truth until it becomes indistinguishable from your breath. Until peace no longer visits you occasionally, but builds its nest in your ribcage. Until you look in the mirror and do not flinch, because you have remembered you are not your reflection, you are the light behind it. And so I invite you now, not as a teacher, but as a fellow traveler, to drop the illusion that your life begins once everything makes sense. Drop the illusion that healing is a destination or that you must wait to be ready. You are already whole, not someday. Now, in this breath, in this stillness, you do not need to climb any mountain to find God. You need only to sit still long enough to feel the divinity that pulses through your own being. This is not new information. It is ancient. It is the wisdom of Lao Tzu's Tao, of Jesus' still kingdom within, of Rumi's longing that melts all separation. Every master, every scripture, every truth speaker was pointing in the same direction, not to a path you must find, but to a presence you must remember. And that presence is you. Can you feel it? That sacred pulse, that silent knowing. It's not asking you to become anything. It's asking you to unbecome everything you are not. To peel away the layers of protection, expectation, and projection until what remains is something soft and vast and holy. That is not weakness. That is your truest strength. Because when you live from the soul, you no longer need to defend yourself. You no longer need to chase or compete or beg for validation. You move through life like water yielding, yet unstoppable, clear, yet deep, soft, yet carrying the power to shape mountains. And yes, the world will still spin, people will still leave, plans will still collapse, but you will remain anchored, not because life becomes easier, but because you stop resisting its flow. You no longer need to understand every twist of the path, because you trust the one who shaped the path. You stop gripping and start allowing. You stop surviving and start living. Living, truly living, is not about collecting experiences. It's about inhabiting presence. It's not about chasing happiness. It's about dissolving the barriers to joy that already exists. Joy is not an outcome. Joy is your natural state, uncovered when you stop trying to be anything but what you are. Let every breath be your affirmation. Let every pause be your return. Let these words be not a sermon, but a mirror, reflecting back to you the divine radiance you've always carried. You don't need to do anything with them. You need only to be with them, sit with them. Let them echo into the quiet chambers of your heart until something ancient stirs, until the river of your soul, long dammed by doubt, begins to flow again. And when it does, you will remember, not as a thought, not as an idea, but as a knowing that pulses beneath your name, beneath your history, beneath the roles you play, a knowing that whispers, I am not broken, I am not lost, I am not becoming, I am. Live from that place, speak from that place, love from that place, and watch as life, once a burden to endure, becomes a mystery to dance with. So do not just hear these words, live them. Let them become your practice, your prayer, your present. Let them lead you back, not to a new self, but to the eternal self you've always been. And when you do, the world will not need to change for you to feel peace. Because the peace you seek is not waiting in the distance, it is waiting in you. And now, as you stand at the threshold of this remembrance, you may feel a trembling, not of fear, but of release. Like an old tree letting go of autumn's final leaf, you too are shedding identities that no longer belong to the living truth of who you are. Do not resist this unraveling. It is grace in motion. It is the gentle undoing of the false, so that the eternal may rise. Trust that nothing real can be lost, and nothing unreal is needed for your wholeness. You see, healing does not happen through understanding alone, it happens through surrender. It is not the work of the mind, but of the soul. The mind wants to fix, the soul wants to reveal. And when you stop grasping for explanations and begin opening to the deeper rhythm of your being, the cracks in your story become doorways to the sacred. Your wounds, no longer mistakes to hide, become altars of transformation. Each scar a symbol not of defeat, but of the light that never left you. And in this space, you begin to move differently, not faster, not louder, but truer. There is a softness in your step, not because you are uncertain, but because you are no longer rushing to outrun the moment. The need to arrive dissolves, and in its place arises the realization that you are already in the presence of everything holy. This breath, this heartbeat, this moment, the entire universe is present here, pulsing with the same intelligence that brought stars into being. And you are not separate from it. You are the wave remembering it is the ocean. Let your life become the practice of devotion, not to an ideal, not to an image, but to truth itself. Not the kind of truth that demands agreement or validation, but the kind that needs no defense. The kind that is lived in silence. Walk with that truth, and you will find that your mere presence begins to heal what you do not touch, begins to illuminate what you do not explain. You do not need to be extraordinary to live a sacred life. You need only to be real, real in your joy, real in your sorrow, real in your becoming, and real in your stillness. It is this authenticity, the courage to be without masks, that becomes your highest offering to the world. Because when you show up whole, you remind others that they too are allowed to be whole. And so, let the spiritual not be something you practice on Sundays or in solitude. Let it be the way you fold your hands, the way you speak another's name, the way you listen when nothing is being said. Let it be how you rise from difficulty, not with resistance, but with reverence. Because to be alive is already the miracle. To breathe, to feel, to hurt, to hope, this is sacred ground. And the more you live from this sacred ground, the more you find that love is not a possession to acquire, but a presence to embody. It is not earned, it is remembered. It is not given to you from the outside, it radiates from within. And when you walk as love, speak as love, serve as love, the world around you cannot help but soften in your wake. You don't need to shout from mountaintops to share your truth. You only need to live it. In the small, uncelebrated moments, in the silent decisions to be kind when it is not required, in the quiet choices to forgive even when the world justifies your anger. These are the revolutions that shift worlds. So carry this knowing not as a doctrine, but as a breath. Let it shape the way you look at strangers. Let it inform the way you talk to yourself when no one is watching. Let it be the music beneath your thoughts, the warmth behind your words, the peace beneath your striving. Because when you begin to live from this place, life no longer feels like a riddle to solve. It feels like a river to float within, a mystery to honor, a dance you don't need to lead. You surrender your urgency to understand, and you begin to feel the grace of simply allowing, not passively, not as a victim, but as a co-creator who trusts the intelligence of the whole, even when you cannot see the pattern. And in that trust you rise. Not above others, but above the illusion that you are alone, that you are lacking, that you are anything less than a living expression of the infinite. So walk gently now, not because you are fragile, but because everything around you is holy, including you, especially you. There will come a time, perhaps now, perhaps in a breath not yet taken, when you feel the weight of all you've carried begin to tremble. Not because you have dropped it, but because you've realized it was never yours to carry. The burdens of needing to be enough, of proving your worth through effort and perfection, were not born from your soul. They were stitched together by a world that forgot the sanctity of simply being. And in that forgetting, we learn to betray ourselves for the comfort of acceptance, to trade our truth for the currency of praise. But you, dear soul, you are waking up, and that awakening is not always loud. It doesn't always announce itself with fanfare or fireworks. Sometimes it feels like heartbreak. Sometimes it arrives disguised as loss, as confusion, as a holy emptiness that nothing outside of you can seem to fill. But do not misinterpret the void. It is not a sign of failure. It is an invitation to stop patching the cracks and finally listen to what's trying to emerge from within. Because in truth, you are not becoming, you are remembering. Remembering the texture of your own spirit before it was pressed into molds that never quite fit. Remembering that you were not born to conform, you were born to shine, to express, to expand. And the expression of your soul will never look like anyone else's. It was never meant to. But for so long, you were taught to shrink, to speak only when spoken to measure your worth by external applause. And so, like so many others, you dimmed your light, not because it lacked brilliance, but because you were told it was too much, too wild, too free. Now, though, the soul is stirring. It has waited in silence, patiently watching as you searched outside for what could only be found within. And in the echo of every disappointment, in the quiet ache beneath each success that didn't bring the joy you imagined, it is whispered not to punish you, but to guide you home. The home you seek is not a place, it is a presence. And you carry it with you in every breath. You carry it in the way your heart breaks open, in the way your spirit softens in the presence of truth. You carry it in your tears, in your laughter, in the still moments when you are no longer performing, but simply existing. And that existence, in its purest form, is sacred. You were not put here to win at life. You were not sent into this world to outshine others or prove your importance. You were born to embody the divine, not as an abstract concept, but as a lived reality. You were born to be a portal through which love moves, through which presence speaks, through which the universe experiences itself in form. And love, real love, asks nothing of you but your honesty. It does not need you to be fixed. It does not require you to be fearless. It only asks you to be real. To show up not as the polished image you've curated, but as the raw, beautiful soul who is willing to be seen even when they feel broken. Because the cracks in your armor are not flaws. They are the entry points for light. They are where the divine slips through and says, you are still enough, especially now. So many of us have been conditioned to strive, to hustle, to earn rest through exhaustion. We believe stillness is laziness, that softness is weakness, that surrender is giving up. But surrender is not defeat, it is alignment. It is the sacred act of no longer resisting the flow of what is. It is the exhale after a lifetime of holding your breath. It is the moment you decide, not intellectually but viscerally, to trust the intelligence that breathes galaxies into existence and also breathes you. Can you trust it? Can you let go of the need to constantly explain your journey, to justify your being, to prove that you are doing enough to deserve simply exist? Can you lay that burden down and let your life be a prayer, not of words, but of presence? Because life is not asking for your perfection. It is asking for your participation. It is asking you to be awake to the moments that unfold like sacred offerings in the most ordinary of places. The smell of morning, the quiet between heartbeats, the glance of a stranger that reminds you you're not alone. These are not detours from your path. These are the path. And when you live in presence, when you inhabit the now so fully that even your breath feels like a hymn, you begin to taste eternity in every fleeting second. Time slows, not because the world changes, but because you are no longer rushing through it, missing the miracles in your pursuit of meaning. You start to see yourself differently. Not through the lens of your past, not as a resume of achievements or a list of mistakes, but as a living, breathing part of the whole. And that whole, it includes everything. The joy and the sorrow, the clarity and the confusion, the light and the shadow, all of it belongs. You don't need to banish your darkness to claim your divinity. Your divinity includes the shadow, the shame, the aching places that still remember the sting of abandonment. It includes the nights you cried alone and the mornings you pretended to be okay. Nothing is left out of love. Nothing is unworthy of healing. And so you begin to speak to yourself differently. You offer yourself the gentleness you once reserved for others. You start to trust the inner voice that doesn't scream for attention, but whispers with a wisdom that feels like home. You begin to parent yourself with compassion. You let the little one inside you, the one who still flinches at raised voices or holds their breath to feel safe, know that they are no longer alone, that you are here, that they are held. And as this healing ripples through your being, your outer world begins to reflect your inner shifts. Not because you forced it to, but because energy cannot lie. When you change your frequency, life responds. Not with reward, but with resonance. You attract not what you want, but what you are. So when you become peace, peace finds you. When you become love, love flows in unexpected ways. When you become enough, you stop begging for crumbs because you've remembered the feast that already lives inside you. This is not about bypassing pain or pretending that life doesn't hurt. This is about standing in your truth while the storm rages and knowing you are still the sky. This is about letting the pain move through you without becoming your name, about grieving without collapsing, about walking through fire and still carrying water for others. It is about living in such alignment with your soul that you no longer confuse success with significance or busyness with purpose. It is about waking up each day and asking not, what must I do to be worthy, but how can I serve love through my presence today? And your presence, yes, your simple, honest, embodied presence is more powerful than you can imagine. It can soften the hardest heart. It can bring comfort to a soul in despair. It can remind others of what they've forgotten about themselves, that they too are divine, that they too are held, that they too can return. You are not here by accident. You are not reading these words by chance. This is a divine appointment, a soul remembering session. A moment outside of time where the veil lifts and you see clearly for a heartbeat that everything you've ever needed has always lived within. So take this knowing and live it. Let it soak into your bones. Let it shape the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you choose. Do not just visit this place of presence. Build your home here. Not because it will make you perfect, but because it will make you whole. And wholeness is the soil where miracles grow. You are that soil. You are the miracle. You are the light you've been praying for. Now rise, not with urgency, but with reverence. You are not here to strive. You are here to remember. You are not here to perform. You are here to embody. You are not here to wait for life to begin. You are life. So live it. Live it deeply. Live it slowly. Live it truthfully. Live it fully. Live these words. But you, beautiful soul, were not meant to be a museum of old pain. You are not a monument to regret. You are not here to rehearse yesterday's sorrow under the disguise of survival. And still, how easily we do. We carry forward the language of our wounds, calling them identities. We cradle our hurts like relics, afraid that if we release them, we will lose part of ourselves. Yet the truth is this: you are not your pain. You are not what happened to you. You are not the silence you endured, the betrayal you witnessed, the shame you were taught to wear like armor. These were chapters, yes, but they were never the title. They are part of the landscape, but not the horizon. The soul does not cling to history. The soul yearns only for liberation. And this yearning, it is sacred. It is not weakness. It is not impatience. It is the divine restlessness of truth stirring beneath the surface of your being. It is the whisper that says there must be more than this. And there is. There always was. Not more to achieve, not more to gather, but more to release. You see, healing is not the act of becoming new. It is the surrendering of the old. It is allowing what no longer serves your becoming to fall away. Like autumn leaves, it is natural to let go. It is holy to shed. But the ego fears loss. It tells you that without your story, you are nothing. Without your wounds, who will you be? You will be free. You will be light. You will be the sky, unburdened by the storm. Because the past, though it shaped you, was never meant to define you. It was a passage, not a prison. And every time you return to it with resentment, with guilt, with self-punishment, you reinforce the illusion that you are still there. But you are not. You are here, in this breath, in this now. And the now is untouched by yesterday. Yes, you have felt pain. You have endured seasons where the light seemed to hide, but look at you. You did not disappear. You did not dissolve. Something in you stayed. Something stronger than despair. Something wiser than circumstance. That something is your soul. And it is ready now. Ready not to forget, but to forgive. Not to erase, but to transform. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is not excusing what was done. It is the sacred art of saying, I will not carry this another day. It is the declaration that your future deserves more space than your past. It is a gift you give yourself, not because the other deserves it, but because your freedom does. And so I ask you gently but firmly, what are you still carrying that no longer belongs to this chapter of your life? What resentment have you dressed in righteousness? What story have you told so often it has become a wall between you and peace? The soul is not here to be guarded. It is here to be seen, to be lived, and to be free. Let the tears come if they must. They are not weakness. They are sacred water. They are the baptism of becoming. Let them wash away the hardness that has clung to your heart. Let them carry out the sediment of stored grief. You do not have to be strong in the way the world defines strength. You have nothing to prove. True strength is surrender. It is the quiet courage to say, I no longer wish to suffer. It is the willingness to release even when the mind says hold. It is bowing to life, not in defeat, but in reverence. And when you bow, when you finally exhale, all you've been holding in, you will not crumble. You will rise. You will rise not as the old self reconstructed, but as the truth unburdened. And in that rising, the world changes not because the world has shifted, but because your vision has. You begin to see that every painful event was not a punishment, but a portal. That every heartbreak was not destruction, but preparation. That the cracking open of your heart was not the end, but the beginning of your soul breathing more freely. You begin to thank the past, not for its pain, but for its power to awaken you. And in that gratitude, freedom blooms. Not the freedom of circumstance, but the freedom of presence. The kind that walks with grace even through shadows. The kind that smiles not from perfection, but from peace. This is the liberation your soul longs for, not escape, but embodiment. Not detachment, but deep presence. Not avoidance of your wounds, but the soft return to them, with love, with compassion, with the hands of the divine cradling every broken part and whispering, "You are still whole, so let go, beloved." Not because the pain wasn't real, but because your spirit is more real still. Let go, not to forget, but to finally remember. Remember who you were before the hurt. Remember who you were when joy was your natural language. Remember the you that was never diminished by any loss, only hidden beneath the dust of forgetting. You are not your past. You are the presence that has survived it. And now you are free. So now you stand not at an end, but at a return. Not at the edge of a precipice, but at the threshold of your own soul, wide open and waiting. You've peeled back the layers. You've sat with your pain and heard its voice. You've touched the cold stone of memory and let it speak, not to haunt you, but to free you. And now, the silence you once feared becomes your sanctuary. The stillness that once felt empty now sings with presence. There is nothing more to seek, nothing more to earn, nothing more to become. You are the arrival you have always been waiting for. You are the destination hiding beneath every desperate detour. You are the peace that once felt distant, now blooming from within like a long-forgotten seed, watered at last by your own permission to feel, to soften, to simply be. And the world around you, though it has not changed, feels different now. Not because it became easier, but because you stopped expecting it to complete you. You see through the veil. You no longer ask life to prove your worth. You no longer beg others to love what you yourself have only tolerated. You have reclaimed your name, not the one written in documents, but the one whispered in eternity. The name only the divine remembers. The name of light, of truth, of presence. And when you live from that name, when you walk as your true self without apology, there's no need for validation. You do not convince the sun to rise. You do not negotiate the bloom of a rose. You do not argue with gravity to be held. So too, you do not need to defend your light. You simply shine, quietly, powerfully, unshakably. There is a gentleness to you now, not because you are fragile, but because you are no longer at war with yourself. You no longer carry armor into conversation. You no longer mistake achievement for love, or silence for peace. You speak with clarity, not to be heard, but because truth has become your breath. You listen without needing to respond, because your identity no longer depends on performance. And from that space, life becomes what it was always meant to be. Not a ladder to climb, but a dance to join. Not a test to pass, but a canvas to paint with every color of your being. You taste your food differently. You hear music as if for the first time. You hold hands with the present, no longer asking it to hurry or explain itself. You are here, fully, finally, radiantly here. And in this here-ness, something ancient awakens in you. A memory without words, a presence beyond thought. A knowing that the love you sought was never lost, that the light you longed for was never out there, that the healing you prayed for was never delayed. It was always within reach, just waiting for you to turn inward. So now, let your life become a living prayer. Let your walk be a meditation. Let your breath be your teacher. Let your laughter be your offering. Let your stillness be your power. You no longer need to push. You no longer need to strive. You have nothing to prove. You have only to remember. Remember that the source which created all things dwells not in temples or heavens far away, but in the quiet chamber of your own heart. Remember that joy is not earned, it is your birthright. Remember that love is not something to deserve, it is the language of your soul. Remember that peace is not a reward, it is your original nature. And as you walk forward light in step, soft in gaze, whole in spirit, may the world reflect your transformation, not with applause, but with resonance. May you meet others not to fix them, but to love them as you have learned to love yourself. May you become the presence that reminds others that they too are home. This is the revolution, not of nations, not of systems, but of spirit. It begins quietly, in a single breath, in a single choice, in a single soul saying, I will no longer abandon myself. You are that soul. You are that breath. You are that revolution. So go now not in search, but in remembrance. Do not just hear these words. Live them. Let them root in your cells. Let them rise in your silence. Let them become the way your spirit walks this earth. Because you, beloved, are not a seeker. You are the sought. And the moment you stop running, the divine catches you not to change you, but to reveal that you were never lost. You are the light. You are the home. You are the truth. And you are free.